who wanted Shannan Gilbert dead that night, and why would they want to kill her?
That is a good question.
Who would want to kill her?
Anybody that wanted to have a party with Shannan Gilbert had the potential to kill her. She was hired by an organization to do this. She was not hired by Joe Brewer. There's not a scintilla of evidence, including Joe Brewer's own word, that shows that Brewer hired her. He insisted he never paid her a penny. Under oath, I've taken his testimony twice. You ought to respect some of this, what I'm talking about, instead of talking over me.
I didn't talk over you.
All right, but the other guy did. All right.
All I asked was,
Joe
had
Brewer
motive to kill her.
Michael Pack said there was no money exchanged, okay, for that night. And Shannan Gilbert only talked to Joe Brewer for 3 minutes on a telephone when she was in New York.
Okay.
3 minutes maximum. There's no way they made that arrangement in 3 minutes for her to come out there for 3 hours, a very unusual amount of time for a sex worker.
So who'd want to kill her?
And in fact, we know that not only did Pack say it, Brewer said it, but there's other evidence that that they were working for a sex trafficking organization. That organization was paid. Now, what were they paid for? So you don't really know what motivated Shannan Gilbert to go there in the first place. But one thing is pretty clear. I know sex workers. I've met hundreds of them over the course of years, and in this investigation. And indeed, one thing I know is clear. They don't go to work in far places without getting paid first, nor do their drivers or their pimps. And in this case, they would have been paid to go there beforehand. What for? For a 3-hour tryst way the hell out on Long Island in a secret area like that? That's not likely. Something else was going on there. Was she hunted? She went, according to Joseph Brewer, she went to go get playing cards at 3 o'clock in the morning at a CVS. Playing cards? For what? To play a game with whom? One person? That doesn't make any sense. That's
Mr. Ray, did you depose every witness at Oak Beach?
Just about.
And how many witnesses were there?
I'll give you one. The last person to claim he saw Shannan Gilbert after she knocked on Barbara Brennan's door was Justin Canning. His father and mother lived across the street, Thomas Canning, from Mrs. Brennan. Canning's wife was a nurse with Peter Hackett's wife. Hackett's wife got her the job. They're very closely knit community. Justin Canning was a best friend of Charlie Hackett and of Sal Aversano's son. He lived next door to Brennan. He died of an overdose of heroin. Justin Canning was a heroin dealer and addict. And Justin Canning went with his father when Barbara Brennan saw the knock on the door, heard the knock on the door, and saw Shannan very clearly through her window. She called Thomas Canning to come over and help her. Thomas Canning came with his son, Justin. He lied about that and said he went alone. His son, Justin, said, and I took his testimony, he said that they saw Shannan Gilbert and she was disheveled. And he told that to the New York Post reporter who reported it dutifully. So I interviewed Justin Canning. Guess what? The police to this day never interviewed Justin Canning. And Justin Canning got busted in New Jersey after all of this in a heroin bust. And the police could easily have gone there and rolled him up and gotten information from him, and they didn't. They've never interviewed him. He's one of several they never interviewed. They didn't interview the Hackett family. They interviewed only Hackett. And they interviewed him only once, and he lawyered up right away and refused to take a lie detector test. So they didn't interview a lot of people in this case. That's just for starters.
Look, Mr. Ray, we don't doubt that the initial response to this was horrific. I mean, it wasn't anything close to a good investigation. But you would think that after the fact, after what happened, after her body was discovered, after they discovered in connection with her, and she was probably the catalyst that led to them finding the Gilgo 4, that they would have done a better investigation and interviewed all the people that you interviewed.
Sergeant, they didn't. They did not do a better investigation. It never occurred. They shut down the investigation, and
not even after the task force was formed.
Correct.
By Rodney Harrison.
Correct. None of those people have been interviewed.